Alright, hello there. My name is Joby, and today we're going to be talking about Aaron Judge, the Yankees superstar. We're going to see if his diet is actually helping him be a better athlete, or if he's just a freak athlete and he's not eating properly. So, a little bit about him. He's huge, 33 years old, 6'7", 282-pound outfielder. He played good in college. He's playing good now. As you can see, last year, basically all this stuff just means that he was the best player in the league. All right, so in a couple interviews, he has talked a little bit about his diet. He always makes sure to eat a bunch of leafy greens, and his favorite vegetable is spinach. He also eats chicken, fish, and rice daily, and he tries to stick to very lean meats. And one thing that's interesting about him is before meals, he likes to drink a smoothie with fruits, vegetables, protein, instead of loading up on carbs hours before, like most players do. And he has also cut sweets completely from his diet. So we're just going to go over these 4 topics and how they might be affecting his vision, visual processing, and in-game performance. First one that I'm going to talk about is that he drinks a smoothie before the game. So does this help him perform? Does it not? We'll find out. All right, so in the interview, this is what he said. But the most important part that I want to take away is that he says, helps me maintain the energy and feel full, but without making me feel heavy and slow throughout the game. So he's not a big fan of eating carbs before the game. It just makes him feel kind of sluggish and doesn't feel super good. So there's some research done about this by these Japanese scientists, and their article comparison of the effects of high carbohydrate and low carbohydrate meals on drowsiness and biological indices. They used eye tracking software, as we can see on the right. This is their setup. They used Tobii Pro Lab eye tracking, and they took data on fixation, saccades, and blinks. And the smoothie is going to be the low carb meal example versus pasta, which is the most popular high carb pregame meal. Let's dive into it. So the black is the LCM, low carb meal. White is the high carb meal. You're going to see that blood glucose is higher with the high carb meals. And the mean pupil diameter is actually gets a bit larger with the low carb meals. And we'll see duration of eye closure is a bit lower. And then the data for total gaze times are actually in support of neither. And so what the results said was that there was no statistically significant differences between LCM and HCM in the eye tracking tests, though there were some other things and trends that we noticed. We noticed with the LCM, there is a larger pupil diameter, which actually we wouldn't want that for a baseball player because you can get aberrations and it's a disadvantage and you're not seeing as sharp and fine. There's also increased blink duration, but that doesn't affect hitting at all because, as we learned in Dr. Erickson's lecture the other week, 90-mile-per-hour fastball comes in less than half a second. So if you're blinking when the pitcher's throwing the ball, you're already going to be missing it. Like, you're missing half the ball. If you can't see it come out of the hand and you're closing your eyes, you're not going to be able to open it and find where the ball is. And then increased fixed gaze duration doesn't really help since the ball is moving. We want to be able to track the ball. This is some cognitive results that they also took. All the arrows point to the low carb meal. So while there may be an advantage in some of these, like slightly better reaction time, you're getting slower processing speed and motor speed and just function in general. Seems like loading up on carbs has more advantages. But in Aaron Judge's case, he really values not feeling bloated and sluggish with the dinner. So what does this mean? I think in this case means for baseball, and I guess Aaron Judge in particular, that vision isn't everything. So even though he's drinking the smoothie and it could be hindering him a little bit in his vision, overall that's not the most important aspect. And if he feels refreshed and not full and that he can play and run hard, it's also very important. So with this first part of our research, Drinking the smoothie before the game doesn't really help him visually, but it might help him function better. So, yeah.
Okay, so my topic is the fact that he eats lots of leafy greens in every meal. A baseball player like Aaron Judge heavily relies on vision for vast visual reaction times, clear depth perception, and fast and clear visual tracking. So the question is, do leafy greens help? Well, obviously, yeah. I feel like every time we learn about nutrition, the first thing we learn about is how great green leafy vegetables are. The reason why they're so great, though, is because they are high in lutein and zeaxanthin. They are known to support eye health and brain function. So, for a baseball player and for everyone else, good eyes, good brain equals good. A research article that I was able to find, they did a study that was a double-blind, placebo-controlled um, research that was done on young, healthy adults, which fits the demographic of Aaron Judge. And the experiment lasted for about 4 months, and there were two groups. One group was giving 10 milligrams of lutein and 2 milligrams of zeaxanthin daily, and the other group were given a placebo. At the end of the research, um, they did some tests using EEG to measure their VEP, doing go and no-go tasks and task switching activities and MPOD measurements. They found that the people taking the carotenoids had a 10% faster visual reaction time, had a 12% improvement in neural processing speed, and stronger responses in neural processing speed compared to those taking the placebo. So, in conclusion, yes, leafy greens may be helping Aaron Judge with his pitch tracking, swing timing, and reaction in the outfield. So, if you want to be an amazing athlete, or at least eat like one, you should be eating your green leafy vegetables. Some of the options are kale, spinach, collard greens, and broccoli. All of those vegetables are high in those carotenoids that Aaron Judge is swearing by. So as far as what he's claiming he's doing a fantastic job with his diet.
Lean proteins, such as chicken and fish, instead of fattier proteins, are Aaron Judge's preference when it comes to his diet. We know that protein is important for the repair and synthesis of muscle proteins that are broken down during exercise, and deficiencies are correlated with low energy, which isn't great for baseball, obviously, but there's no studies of protein's direct effects on visual performance. We do know that the sources that we get protein from are important as well, as fatty meats tend to be high in saturated fat and cholesterol, which is associated with increased incidence of intermediate AMD, and cholesterol in the diet can accumulate in the retina. And that is shown by this study right here that's done on rats. So these rats were fed a high-fat diet, and that resulted in changes in the lipid organization in the retina, especially in the RPE and the choroid. This also resulted in photoreceptor degeneration, lipid accumulation in the RPE, and elevated senescence markers and inflammatory CKs, which are correlated with the increasing cholesterol dosage that you can see right here. So the increased amount of senescence markers in the retina also correlated with the retina's ability to detect light at low levels. So it is correlated with visual performance. We know that fish is high in omega-3s, and one of those omega-3s is DHA, which is an antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and has neuroprotective properties. And while it is synthesized in the liver, the easiest way to have it incorporated into your diet is to have fish or fish oil supplements. There was a study done on DHA and cognitive function where for 6 months, young adults were split into a DHA and placebo group. So at the beginning, they had similar baseline cognitive test scores, and the gender distribution was the same as well. The study used a computerized mental performance assessment system that has been shown to be sensitive to nutritional interventions. And the results of the study were that, regardless of sex, the DHA group had significantly improved reaction time by 0.18 standard deviations compared to the placebo group. Memory was also improved, but visual processing speed did not change. In other words, Judge's diet of lean protein, specifically fish, which is high in omega-3s, has been proven to improve reaction time, memory, and preserve vision.
All right, for our fourth subject, we'll be talking about sweets. This background is courtesy of Joby, just to make sure you're not falling asleep and for more colors in the presentation. We'll be comparing fruit sugars versus artificial sugars, and the difference is fruit sugars is in apples, berries, and etc. They have fructose, glucose, as well as minerals and vitamins, especially for the eyes. And they do have a slow metabolism, meaning that it won't spike up your blood glucose as quick compared to artificial sugars over here that are from sugar-free foods. And they do have a bunch of other ingredients that I will not name because I don't know how to say them. And they do have a quick metabolism, meaning that it is very fast at spiking your blood glucose, and that could potentially lead to issues in the eyes as well as systemically throughout the body. Let's talk about artificial sugars a little more. So Judge avoiding artificial sugars is a great call, despite him being a representative of Pepsi, especially Diet Pepsi, because researchers have shown that artificial sugars have been associated with increased chances of getting diabetic retinopathy, photophobia, blurriness, headaches, weight gain, and much more. And as a pro baseball player, photophobia is an eye symptom that must be avoided at all costs. So it's really essential that he's avoiding these artificial sugars in these diet drinks, but keeping up with his smoothies and his fruit sugars. So that's going to be on artificial sugars, but what about through fruits mostly? So fruit smoothies are the way to go, and it's not just because they're good for eye health and improving eye function, but they also contain other forms of nutrients that are good for the eye. So in artificial sugars, those are only concentrated glucose sugars that are chemically processed. But with fruit smoothies, you have increased nutrients, minerals, and other vitamins that are really essential for eye vision in athletes. So the following can be shown to be improved by colorful fruits, so increased distance viewing, increased acuity viewing, better reaction time, visual motor function, and executive cognition, which are very essential for an athlete's ability to do well in the field. So here are our references. And Joby did put a YouTube link if you want to learn more about Aaron Judge. And yeah, here's just a quick thank you, Dr. Kundar. Hopefully we'll see you again next time.